Hello. Who are these people in my room? This is fucking weird. What is up, guys? This is Brett here from brettdev.com and welcome back to the channel. Right behind me is the Ping River, which runs all the way through Chiang Mai. And right over there is the market that we were at a couple of videos ago. Now, the reason I have come back to this location is a couple of things. Firstly, I thought it would be a good spot to start the video because that's kind of where we left off in the last one, so you get some kind of perspective of the layout of Chiang Mai. And secondly, it's a good spot for where I'm about to begin. So what I want to do in this video is I want to take a little bit of a walk down memory lane for myself. And I want to tell you guys about when I first came to Thailand, well, when I first came to Chiang Mai, how I very almost left on the first day. So I absolutely hated Chiang Mai when I first got here, which I'm going to get into in a sec. I'm also going to talk about how I hooked up with a Thai girl on that same day and the 2 weeks that kind of followed on from that. I thought this would be interesting to tell you guys about how I first came to Thailand, and specifically when I first came to Chiang Mai. So this was back in 2015. I'd been to Thailand a couple of times in 2013 on a holiday, and I came back in 2015 actually on a holiday. I came with two of my friends, and previously both times that I'd been here I'd only been down to Koh Phangan. So well, Koh Phangan, and one other time I went to Hua Hin, and obviously Bangkok, because that's where most people fly into. You fly into Bangkok. And so on the third trip, 2015, I come back here on a holiday, and I was just like, you know what, I'm going to stay here. I had been doing some research, I had been watching some YouTube videos, like you're probably doing right now, but I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody in Chiang Mai. I'd just known what I'd kind of seen on YouTube. And my friends was like, oh, you're crazy. You know, they were getting ready to go home, and I just thought, nah, man, like 2 days to the flight, I'm like, I'm not getting on it. I'm going to go up to Chiang Mai and check that out. They had to go back, and I was like, screw it. So I come up to Chiang Mai by myself. I didn't know anyone. Just to point this out real quick, this road here. So this road is where the flower market's on. So if you walk straight up here, the flower market and Warrock market is just on your left. I actually parked up there. There's a parking garage. It took me like 5 minutes to walk down to here to start this video. So just for reference of where we're at. And yeah, so I came up to Chiang Mai in 2015 by myself, without knowing anyone, without having a clue, based purely what I'd seen on YouTube. So I was following people like Johnny FD, if you remember Johnny FD. I think he's got a pretty big YouTube channel now. And there are a few other digital nomads that were out here at that time. And I came here because I thought, you know, I had my laptop with me. I was kind of trying to do some work and stuff when I was down on the islands, or when I was on Koh Phangan. And I was like, I'm going to see what this place is all about. Now, when I first got here, I actually booked my hotel very close to here. And this is why I started this video on the bridge, because the hotel I first stayed at was straight down here and on the left. We're going to get up to it and I'll show you the hotel once we get there. So this is Temple Wat Buparam. This is along the same street. Tremendous, absolutely tremendous, amazing temple. In any other city this would be the center of the city, but I've never even noticed it. There are so many that are like this scattered throughout the city. You don't even notice amazing temples like this one. There are some amazing temples in Chiang Mai, and actually what a lot of people don't realize is people come here, they go to Doi Satep, which is the main tourist attraction in the top of the mountain, and that's cool because you get a nice view of the city. But some of the temples that are actually in the city are the oldest temples. If you do some research and look back at, you know, the oldest temple in Chiang Mai, the oldest temple is actually where the old king said, right, we will build the city here, and that was like the first building they built, and that goes back like 1,000 years. maybe even longer. And that is right in the middle of the old city. This is the soi that I first stayed in when I first came to Chiang Mai, the first ever day. And I stayed at this hotel right here called Taipei Place. Now I remember it being really cheap, that's probably why I would have booked it at the time. And it was not a new hotel or anything, it was a bit, you know, olden style. There used to be a restaurant here. So there was a restaurant out here where you could eat your food, or maybe it's still here, maybe it's... No, it's not, it's gone. It's gone. So there used to be a restaurant there where you could sit outside and eat your food. And I stayed in here. Down this backside, this will actually take you out onto the Loi Kra Road where the nightlife is. And hands on heart, I didn't even know that that's where the nightlife was. I didn't know anything about nightlife when I first come to Thailand. I knew a little bit. I'd seen Soy Cowboy in Bangkok when I'd come on holiday with my friends, but I didn't know that Chiang Mai had nightlife. I didn't know it had bars, lady bars where you could go drinking. I didn't know it had Loi Kra Road down there. I had no idea. I came here to check out the digital nomad scene. I wanted to join co-working spaces. I wanted to start an online business. So what happened is when I stayed in that hotel, the first thing I did was I booked a motorbike to ride around because I thought Chiang Mai is a bit of a big city. I'm going to need to get about. And I had ridden a motorbike, but I'd only ridden a motorbike in Koh Phangan. Koh Phangan, if you've ever been there, it's an island, so there's not much traffic. There's roads that run through the island, and you pretty much have them to yourself. There's not no junctions, there's not anything. It's just easy roads. Now, I'd ridden a motorbike twice on the 2 holidays that I'd been here before in 2013. And before I come up to Chiang Mai, this trip, but I'd never ridden a motorbike in the city. Now the guy I rented from, it was a weird name, but he gave me a motorbike that was just absolute like janky. It felt like the front wheel was going to fall off when I was riding it. So I fly in here, I get a bus or tuk-tuk, can't remember, to that hotel. I check in and I walk out the hotel and get on a bike. And this is the first experience that I have of Chiang Mai. I come riding down this road on a motorbike, just as I had, I don't know if you can hear that, I've got one of those birds at my house. Whoa, whoa. So yeah, I come riding down this road on my motorbike, all ready, all set to explore the city. When I came out here in 2015, I span around this corner here on my bike, and this car was just like, it looked like that roundabout that you see in Paris. And I was like, oh my God, I am gonna die. I cannot ride a bike here. Everyone's trying to knock me off. I really shit my pants, honestly, when I got on my bike and I come around here, tried joining here. Imagine just tons of cars just bombing it down here. And I'm trying to join in on them on a bike where the wheels feels like it's going to fall off. It was a really bad bike. And I just went, holy shit. So I come over here, pulled up, put my Google Maps on, realised I can just do a left and go back to my hotel. Oh, and it was also about 40 degrees as well. So I came up here in about, I believe it was March. So it's about 35, 40 degrees. Dying of heat. Up here by myself, don't know anyone. I pull out onto this road, like I'm doing right now, and feel like I'm about to get run over. Now, I was such a little bitch back then. I literally went back to my hotel and I started looking at flights home. I was like, Chiang Mai shit. I don't know, I had this idea that I would come here and it'd be like Koh Phangan. I don't know. Don't know, I just came here thinking it's going to be like Koh Phangan and it's going to be cool and I'm just going to cruise around. I thought Chiang Mai, actually, when I first come here, I thought Chiang Mai was kind of like a jungle. All I'd really seen of it is the inside of co-working spaces from YouTube and Discovery Channel documentaries. For some reason, in my dumb brain, I was thinking, you know, Chiang Mai is co-working spaces in the jungle. So I wasn't expecting a city, and I wasn't expecting crazy traffic. Anyway, what I did, I went back to the hotel, called off for a little bit, got my phone out, and as anybody would do, I went on Tinder. That was my first experience. I come here, I nearly die, go back to the hotel, go on Tinder, and I start swiping right, as you do. Now, Tinder was a thing then, it was the early days, 2015, and almost immediately, by the way guys, I just walked through the Taipei gate, and we're now in the old city, and we're walking through to the center of the old city. So anyway, I start swiping right on Tinder, and then I match with, if you've ever been to Thailand, it's amazing. You open up Tinder, you swipe right, and you get more matches than you get non-matches. Completely different to in the West, okay? Just throwing that out there for you guys that are thinking of coming here. Open up Tinder and it'll blow your fucking head off. So you open up Tinder and then you got like 20, 30 matches. All these hot girls. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. So that kind of changed my perspective a little bit. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna chat to some of these girls, stay here for a little bit, just give it a chance, you know. So I get talking to one of these girls, and I was really into training at the time. I was into fitness. She was into the gym, and I said, "Hey, do you know where's a good gym I can go?" She says, "Yeah, you can come and train with me. I'll take you there." So I was like, "Okay, sweet." Same day, so like within an hour of being here, I'm meeting up with this girl. She's taking me to a gym. Now the gym was actually north of the city, behind this place called Computer Plaza. I'm not sure if it's still there. So we went there. First time I'd met her, we had like a training session in the gym. That was cool. And then in the evening, she was nice. She was nice, but she was crazy, and I'll get into that in just a sec. Now she did hook me up with a condo. This is a funny story because I said to her, "Look, I'm in this hotel. I want a cheap place to stay. I've heard like you can get cheap deals in Chiang Mai and deals on condos." I didn't really know anything about it. Saw a couple of videos from JC, Retired Cheap to Asia. He was the go-to guy back then for like budget living in Chiang Mai. Still one of my favorite YouTubers. And yeah, so I said to her, where can I get a good deal? She goes, "Oh, my friend knows a place." So she takes me to a condo called Green Hill. I have featured it on this channel before, but it's actually not a great deal, to be honest. So she got me paying 13,000 baht a month. Bearing in mind, this is in 2015 for this condo. And it was cheaper than the hotel. So I think the hotel would have been like 800, 1,000 baht a night or whatever. So I'm thinking, well, it's still half the price of staying in a hotel every night. So I signed a lease on this Green Hill place. Now, bearing in mind, this is like the second or third day that I've been here. And then immediately, as soon as she, this is so common, Thai girls do this all the time, you gotta be so careful. Immediately, as soon as I move into Green Hill, she just moves in with me. She just doesn't leave. She's just staying there the entire fucking time. There was one time, this is after I'd known her for about 4 or 5 days, that I actually left the condo to go to the co-working space. I was a member of Pung Space at the time. I was going there every day, like I said, trying to be focused, trying to build my business. And I come back and she's moved like, all of her family are there. Now this is like a studio apartment. There's just like a bed and a TV in a room. And I come back and there's like 4 people laying on my bed. I'm like, hello, who are these people in my room? She's like, oh, this is my cousin and his friend and that cousin and this cousin. And I'm thinking, what the fuck, man? This is fucking weird. It's very, very easy to meet people in Thailand, even if, like me, I'm very, well, I'm not so much anymore, having lived out here, but before I came here, I was very introvert, super shy, never spoke to anybody. When I'd go in a bar, where there'd be a bunch of expats, and I would just sit there, just didn't even want to say hello to anyone. Because I thought people might think I'm a prick or whatever. Not a prick, it's like, well, I'm a bad guy, but I just felt awkward, you know. But it's not actually like that. You can meet people really, really easily. Just behind me, guys, this is Zoe in yellow. I did a video here a couple of months ago. This is the place where that girl kept partying. She brought me here, and this is where I met my friend Mike as well. So going back to meeting people, Mike was the one that showed me the apartment that I live in now, where I record all my videos. Mike showed me all around the city. Mike joined the co-working space. Mike was a member of the co-working spaces when I was a member. You have to come here, you have to meet people, and you have to make friends. If you come here and you do what I did on day one, where you just go here and you're like, oh, you expect you're just going to go out on your own and life's going to be amazing. You know, the place is all about your friendship circle, the company that you keep, all of that stuff. So if you do come to Chiang Mai, if you do go anywhere for that matter in the world, you need to give it a try, because if I had have booked that flight that day, as I say, there would be no Brett Dev. Maybe a good thing, I don't know.